This week on Dumb Pitches, my guest is Brad Upton. Yep, we got him in studio, and he has a new idea for what you should do with your body when you die. He thinks you should turn it into beer. We're going to need a lot of comments on this one, so here we go, Dumb Pitches.
What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to another episode of Dumb Pitches with Monica Nevi. I'm Monica Nevi, your host. This is the show where we talk to successful people about their worst ideas. I am so excited for our guest. I've been trying to get him on here. One of my favorite people, Brad Upton, is here with me.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And in studio and everything.
Yep, exactly.
Great. Oh, probably should have looked stuff up more, but I just know... I feel like you have one of the longest resumes of any guest that I've had.
Oh, that's
nice. And just as far as the successful part of it goes, great. But we've known each other for a long time. I would consider you my comedy dad.
I appreciate that.
Well,
I'm humbled by that.
I appreciate
Thank
it
you.
Too. But you've been doing stand-up for quite a long time. You opened for Johnny Mathis. You opened for Joan Rivers. People that people would know. But then, I mean, you did a lot of TV stuff and sets like that. And then you had a Dry Bar special come out when they first did them. And I think a lot of people would probably know you from that. You had the most viewed stand-up video of all time.
Right.
I mean, millions. I mean, over 100 million views on these things. And now you've done a second one, right? A second
Correct.
special.
Yep.
Yeah. And now you're on this kind of obviously you got a lot of attention for those, and it seemed like you were touring a little bit differently than maybe you had been before. And now that's led you to, you're going to start doing some theaters coming up.
Yeah, it's blown up. Nobody more surprised than me because I've been around it forever. You know what I mean? It's the same stuff I've been doing. All of a sudden, everybody saw it.
Yeah.
People, oh, this is great. When are you coming to Portland? I've been coming to Portland for 30 years. That's mostly every town. People,
Yeah.
when are you coming to, and I've been coming to that town for 30 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm surprised. And it's the Dry Bar thing that really blew up, and then how it got shared. And I hired a media guy to start chopping up stuff and putting on social media, and that really blew up my exposure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and I see him. It's so funny because as comics, we see enough comedy, and we watch each other all the
Right.
time and stuff. And there's certain people you'll still sit and watch or whatever. And with social media, it's gotten so much worse for me where I'm like, I'm going to start muting people or whatever.
Right.
But I don't. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy
thank
to
you.
see you get the attention, and I just love your comedy. So I sit there and watch it again.
Well, I was literally to the point where I was just about to fade away and retire, and all of a sudden now I'm
They
working
can't.
more than I ever have.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, let's do it.
Well, and I wanted to say you've cultivated this I need to clarify something, and I'm sure a lot of them are watching now. You've cultivated this really invested fan base, I think. They really like you, and,
Right.
and that's great. And now they're coming out. They're showing up. They're actually showing up. But in maybe December, my special from last year had been put on a list of top 50 specials of 2022. And you and I know each other well. And so I posted it. It's, some magazine, some, We Own the Last, just some website. It wasn't the New York Times. It wasn't even the Seattle Times. It was just somebody put their favorite specials up. I posted it. You jokingly, sarcastically, I assume, put, I bet I'm 51.
Right.
Because
right.
yours wasn't on there. That post was flooded with comments from your fans being
no,
like,
really?
this is wrong. Why isn't Brad on there? Blah, blah, blah. And I kept being like, I didn't make the list. I'm just like,
I never
it's
knew
the
that.
first list I've ever been on. And I was like, I'm going to post this. This is cool, And you just jokingly said that. And yeah, people were like, this is wrong. Oh, I don't even know any of the people on here. I don't even know who posted this.
sorry.
I'm like,
I'm
you
so
guys.
sorry. Maybe it made traffic come to
That's
the
what
site.
I'm hoping. I think the post got a lot of attention because of all the
Wow.
comments, so it worked out. But I was like, I was not mad, of course, but
Right.
I was oddly happy that hey, they really stand up for you,
That's
you
so
know?
weird.
I was like, well, yeah, trickle over here. You can like us both,
And then sometimes I'll look at some, you click on your couple of your fans' pages and you're like, ooh. Ooh. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, you never
I'll just
know
leave it at that.
who's showing up, but it was they're loyal, and I
Well, that's good to know. Yeah, if they're buying tickets, come on out. I love you.
right. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I just wanted to say, Brad wasn't actually mad about that. We were all
Right.
joking, all fun,
And
so
nothing wrong with 51st.
yeah.
There's
thought that
nothing
was
wrong
pretty
with
good.
51st. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I think. I don't know. Maybe you said you were, because I was only like 25 through 50 was because I was like 46 or something,
Right.
you know.
That's probably what I said.
And
I
you were
must
like,
have been 51st.
yeah, something like that.
Right.
And I was like, well, the whole list isn't out yet. Like, that's what I said to you, you know.
Right.
So it was clear that we were joking with, I was like, you could
Some
be
people
number
jumping
one still.
in.
We
No,
don't know.
I'm going to defend him.
Yeah. It was great, though. I was like, wow, good. Look at very supportive fans. I like it. Okay. Well, now that we've made you feel good.
Let's make me feel
Yeah,
bad.
that's not what we're here for. So, when I sent you kind of the criteria of ideas or whatever, you could come. What did you think of for your bad idea?
Well, you first sent that to me. I don't have any. I got a lot of good ones. You know, and then I go, oh no, I have one that I thought was really good, and I've shared it with my family, and they go, that's awful.
Good.
Okay, so in the state of Washington, you can decompose body. You can what's the word I'm looking for? The state of Washington is the first state of Washington. When you die, you can be put into what's the word I'm looking for? When you
Like a compost thing?
compost.
I mean,
You can literally compost a body now in the state of Washington. That's
really?
legal. Yes, it's legal in the state of Washington. We're the first state. There's 2 places down by the Soto district where they're composting bodies.
Okay, so
So
hold on. So if somebody passes, you just bring their body there?
They bring their body and they put them in like a big tube with some dirt, and then they rotate it every few weeks or whatever. And I think it's just about 3 months, you have 5 cubic yards of soil, just rich soil. Body's gone. It's gone. It's just soil.
Wait, okay.
So here's my
what
idea.
What do they do now with the soil? They just use it for something else,
yeah.
or are you like bring
my-
Dad back and
That's
we'll?
where my idea comes in.
Okay,
All right.
got it.
This is pops to hops or tears to beers, where you take the beer, you take it over to a hop grower in the Yakima Valley, you lay out the dirt and then you grow hops, and then you take the hops and you make beer out of Dad.
Okay.
Sharks, that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I will say. Most people are not prepared with a name, and you have 2. We go through these ideas. Sometimes
Right,
I'm like,
right. oh,
what would you call it? But you clearly
I
have
had
thought
2
about
of them.
this.
Yeah, pops to hops.
Pops to
Meaning
hops is pretty-
Dad's dying and he's going to turn into hops,
Okay.
or tears to beers.
Tears to Beers is pretty good because then that's like anybody.
Yeah.
Blake like that one.
Yeah. And so you take your body and then a year later, if from the time you die until you're drinking beer is less than a year, and I think you have your big service where everybody comes and celebrates your life, and there's
then
a
you
few
say,
kegs,
"You're drinking
and then
Dad."
you're like, what the? I don't know. We have to think of some beer names though. But you're drinking.
Oh
Dad.
yeah, because you could do a different.
You can have IPAs and stuff like that. Yeah.
It would maybe based on whatever your dad
Whatever
was
kind
into.
of hops that you grew, yeah. But then you could name the beer.
Yeah.
See, I think, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. I thought, oh, everybody's going to be on board, and everybody went, no, that's creepy.
Did they think it was too creepy?
Too creepy.
Okay.
I'm not drinking beer made out. I told my kids, they're like, no, we're not drinking beer that's made out of you. I'm like, well, come on.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant
What
idea.
else is in
I would
the
like for you
hops
guys
here?
to all get drunk and have some beer and have a few kegs, and so.
I mean, I'm kind of weird, so that actually, like, I'd be like, yeah, I think that's funny a little bit. I don't
I
know
do.
if everybody loves it.
I mean, if you're going to compost a body, what are you going to do with it? I mean,
yeah. Do you want to just?
do you want to stick that in the backyard and grow carrots? I mean, I don't know. Or
Yeah, either way, it feels like beer because you then you grow the hops, then there's a process after it.
Right.
If you did grow carrots, you're just gonna. That's more.
that's even creepier.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
creepier. I think.
Even if you have that in your backyard, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
put that dirt in the backyard. I don't know. I think you take it to a farm in Yakima and you lay it out, and here we go.
Let somebody else do it. Well,
Yeah.
because I mean, okay, so if you have someone cremated, then normally you put them in a little whatever mausoleum or something at a cemetery instead of in the ground. But yeah, which feels similar.
Yeah,
Then
I
you
don't-
take it to a place.
I don't
and
know
you
what
go,
they're doing with these. They are composting bodies now. I don't know what people are doing or families are doing with the soil, though. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, do you get the soil back, or is it like, okay, now use it for soil.
Well,
Is it in
you
my
and I
yard
should drive
now?
down there after the show,
Yeah, we'll go figure
knock
it
on the
out.
door and go,
Hey.
hey, what happens here?
What's
What's
going
the
on with
last
this soil?
step here?
And now it would evoke so many questions for me of whose soil would be better. Like what type of body would help? Like, would an in-shape body? What would
yeah,
else?
yeah.
Like,
No,
what
I
did they
don't know.
die from? What like those things? How would things grow?
Yeah, that's a
based
good
on-
idea. If a big, fat, greasy guy might make really good compost.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't
Is that
know.
good or bad? We
Or
don't know.
what if you drank the beer and everybody just,
Ooh, it tastes.
ooh, that's a little, wasn't expecting that.
Salty
Or-
or something. Yeah.
Or somebody going, that was great. When can we get some more?
Yeah.
You can't.
You can't. Yeah,
That was
that's
a
it.
one-time deal.
And it's only for in your path, the funeral, which they do say. The first year after a loss is kind of the most up and down time. At
Right,
least,
right.
there you feel good, and then you feel terrible, and then it's the hardest time. So that would be a good cap to end.
Yeah, if you had a few kegs of Dad in the refrigerator,
Yeah, make you feel better.
it'd make you feel better. That's our last keg of Dad. I don't know how much that would produce. It'd probably be
Keg of
enough.
Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be. I suppose it would depend on how.
I don't know, 5
Big
cubic
Dad
yards of
was, but-
soil. I don't know how much hops that can be, but
Yeah.
it's probably several kegs worth. That'd be a
think.
good party.
Yeah.
I'm on it. See, is that a good idea or bad? I think it's who you pitch it to.
I think so too. And honestly, the thing with this show sometimes is like people will pitch us stuff and then we're like, yeah, that's not even as crazy as some stuff that actually exists.
Right, right.
Whatever people are selling on Etsy and their placenta or whatever. Like that seems just as weird.
Right. Yeah.
That seems just as weird, or if not weirder than
Yeah.
Tears to Beers.
What do we like? Tears to beers?
I think I like Tears to Beers because it's more inclusive.
Yeah.
Pops to hops. I mean,
Yeah, I had 2 names for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You really had spent some time to think about
I
that.
thought it was such a good idea.
Yeah, and it
then
really does. Because
I
I
was
mean,
ready to take it to some farmers and growers and pitch this to some microbreweries. I mean, imagine if you had a funeral service at a brewery where they brewed the beer out of Dad right here. Bang, we're having a Sunday afternoon.
yeah.
I thought it was a great business model, and then everybody went, "Nah, it's weird."
Just because it's weird, did they have any other like
So
reasons
so
why
I
it was
shelved
weird?
that.
Okay.
It was just too weird. They shelved it. I thought, man, I could get a farmer in on this. And a
You're like, I gotta
microbrewery
go
on
have
this.
some
I
meetings.
had a
I don't
business.
know what
I
you
know. I had a PowerPoint presentation all ready to go. And everybody said, "Nah."
I would like, because then it could be a tradition, like you would, every time somebody passes, you'd be like, well, at least now we get to see what grandma's beer tastes like, what each.
Or your brother goes, "I'll taste better than him.
Yeah,
I guarantee you,
probably.
I'll taste better than that. This sucked."
Yeah, you would, maybe that's it. Then you would start to learn how they would come out different, or
Right.
what type
Or
of ale.
Or if you had some, he had a lot of diseases. I'm not sure I want to have any of
I'm not
this.
sure I want to have
Yeah.
any.
He had a lot of
Or he had allergies. I don't
yeah,
know.
allergies.
Yeah. If they're gluten intolerant, can you make them into beer? Is that
Ooh, that's a good question.
that
This is
is
how we break the cycle right here.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, then you give it to the baby and all their immune system is great. I don't even remember. It was about the actual composting part of it.
Yeah, the state of Washington's the first state that can do that.
We would just, no one's even thinking about that being a thing, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, go for it, I guess.
Right.
What a weird, I'm assuming, now I'm thinking you'd grow weed with it, because that's as soon
That's
as
well, of
like
course,
what
that's
I thought.
everybody. Yeah, why? Well, that's the next step too. Grow weed out of it.
Yeah, that might last.
Well, we got to think of a name now.
Yeah, what's
got to think of a good name. Trying to think of something about Kush and
ooh, loss? No.
death, the meth.
Ooh.
No.
That's in
that's
the
a whole
future.
nother
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a different thing.
Yeah, you could do the same thing. Take that and grow weed out of it now.
Yeah. Now I'm just wondering what they're doing. Like, I'm going to have to do some research, or I'm sure somebody maybe has heard more comment what people are doing, or if you know anyone that is composting
Yeah, I
about
don't know.
it.
I don't know anybody that's been composted yet.
It honestly feels so spot on for Washington State because not only for like, the whatever, we're always kind of doing weird hippie stuff, but we really, a lot of serial killer culture here.
Yeah.
And then to say that, I'd be like, when you said it's legal to compost a body, I was like, well, that seems dangerous.
Yeah, there's been guys composting people for years out in the woods.
Now they're just...
Yeah, now it's legit business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when weed became legal, it was like, oh, I was a drug dealer. Now I'm like, I'm a business owner.
There's a guy been turning bodies into soil out in the woods for years.
For years.
You had to know a guy that knew a guy.
Yeah, we might already be drinking the beer of...
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We just didn't
All
know.
along, we didn't
but
know
now
it.
this is... So yes, you're capitalizing on the fact that this could be a legitimate business now instead of just a serial killer making
Just a
beer.
out in the woods guy with a trailer, with a
Out
single
in the
wide.
woods guy. Yeah, Unabomber type of thing out there. Decomposting bodies.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird... I don't even know. And then, okay, so then I just think there's obviously you could expand to weed, but some people are maybe sober. And so you can grow other things out of it.
Yeah, I
but
think
I'm
grandma,
wondering
somebody's going to want to grow tomatoes or something, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Put it in your garden and...
Tomatoes make more sense
Right.
because it wouldn't be directly in contact with the soil. I think the carrots are hard because it's like,
they're in the
it's
soil.
right there.
Yeah. But what if you had you grew all these tomatoes and they just rotted on the
Yeah,
vine,
this
and
is
then
what
you'd
I'm
had a bad crop, just happened to have a bad crop because it got mites or mold or something that kills tomatoes, and you just go, oh my God, what kind of sign is that?
Yeah, what does that mean? Is
Dad
that her?
killed all these tomatoes. I knew he was evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's risky.
That is risky. Do you want to know? I mean, I know you find out a lot of stuff after people pass anyways, going through their stuff or whatever. But that would be...
Yeah.
And what would make it happen? I don't know. I'm interested just to know more about the soil itself and what would happen.
Maybe there's laws about it. Maybe there's I don't know what the composting rules are. Maybe they say you can't do that. You can't grow stuff on it. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I didn't even know that was a thing until you said it. So
I don't know if you had chemicals in your body or something like that.
Well, that was my other thought, was that like
if you're all full of meds.
Yeah,
or
maybe this
I mean.
person overdosed or something, or
Right.
had, and then that would be in there somewhere, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
Then maybe, I don't know, if you make beer out of that, you get
Trace amounts.
messed up real quick. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, or maybe that would be.
Or
they
like
could
you said, make your immune system better.
Yeah.
This guy was on all kinds of meds. This stuff's going to kick ass. I'll have immunity to everything.
Yeah. Or maybe, I mean, I could see, garden people sounds offensive, but, people who get really into their gardens and like the different soils and different,
Right.
Or different varieties of apples, like, or a bunch of different, whatever. I could see people getting really into figuring out like what
mixture,
what type of death, or what type of
or what if you had a dad and an uncle, a bag full of each, and then you're mixing those two. So let's put some grandma in there and mix them all up.
This is the best. You just save a little bit for like summers to come and just keep growing stuff with it.
Let's mix some 1956 with a 1962.
Yeah, I mean. Ooh, wine. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
You grow grapes out of it, too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Ooh, that's another.
Hops was just because it was quick.
Yeah.
You could get that instantly. Grapes you could put.
I guess that does take a little bit longer, but.
It'd take a lot longer.
But maybe that's it. Maybe it depends on how good you are at grieving. Some people it takes
6 or
longer.
8 year cycle, and if you could be like, I'm totally over it. I don't want anything to do
I
with this wine.
I don't even want to try it.
I don't want to try it. Just tell people don't even tell people. But you could keep it on there 6 or 8 years or something.
I mean, now that you think about it, has someone ever just like died in a vineyard and no one noticed or something?
Right.
It's like maybe we have already been drinking some.
That's probably
some soil mixed in with somebody.
Well, you said there's a serial killer culture in this state.
There
very
is.
well could be.
Yeah, and I mean, for a while they were finding bodies near a river for
Right.
a very long time.
That's right.
So, and quite a few of them. Yeah, they could have been mixed in somewhere already. My wife and I had joked about both being cremated and then put in the same, whatever, same thing. But I've seen a lot of ads lately, and maybe because we were talking about it out loud, but.
Well, now they're going to pop up on your phone constantly.
Yeah, I'm going to get all the information about composting bodies. you could put, I guess maybe your ashes or whatever in like it's like an egg thing that grows into a tree on the top.
Yeah, I've
So
seen that.
seems,
Yeah, that's very new age-ish and starting it.
Yeah, I think that would be.
They kind of put your body right in the bag, don't they? I mean, with some soil and
Is that?
and a tree and drop it right into a hole. And I mean, you're not all laid out like traditional. You're kind of in a fetal position, and they put the tree. I think that's how they do it.
So
some
that would
places.
be kind of. I mean, would you Yeah, I guess that'd be the same ish, but yeah. So that would be someone who maybe.
And then 60 years from now, and that tree goes down in a windstorm, and that skeleton comes up in the bottom, and you're like, gah, gah.
Oh man.
What?
Well, and then I think about this stuff because, like, where do you plant that tree? You know,
Right.
like you put it in the yard, or because then what if you move?
Exactly.
And then the
then a development comes along, and they plow
dig it
down
up.
everything, and there's a parking lot now. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Nana's under the parking lot now. We didn't mean to do that. Or you get some kids digging in them. We used to just dig holes all the time.
Right.
That was like a thing.
Yeah.
That kids don't do it as often anymore, but we have.
Yeah, we did.
We have
dig
encouraged our son to just
Go ahead.
throw sticks and dig in the
You might
dirt
find
and stuff.
something.
Yeah, and you might. We found a lot of tools for some reason. Like I don't know the people that lived in the couple of houses we were digging holes around, including my parents, had a whatever. Maybe I don't know. Or do people? When people move, instead of like taking everything to the dump or whatever, are they just burying shit in the yard?
That used to be a thing. People used to bury stuff all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Before there was any kind of dump or anything, people buried stuff in the yard all the time.
Well, and then like one of our dogs like just died at home. We didn't have time. We didn't get him there to be put down or whatever, and so we just had to bury her in the yard.
There's a series of childhood pets in my yard that my kids went through too.
Oh yeah. So I mean, no matter what, that's so funny because you'd find something sometimes when you find a bone and you go, oh my god, what happened? What happened here? It's probably just the hamster passed.
Yeah, exactly.
Had a funeral for it. But so do the bones compost too? The bones don't compost.
They compost.
Do. Okay, so they're doing it in a certain way that actually is.
Yeah, there's nothing left.
Okay.
It's just soil.
Huh.
Bones, everything. It's all gone.
That's obviously more purposeful than a serial killer burying them in separate areas or whatever.
Right, exactly.
But interesting. Well, hopefully they don't get a hold of that because then it'd be easier to hide a body. Could you? Yeah, and then would you find? Now my mind is spinning. But would you be able to find the DNA in the soil after that?
That's a good question. I don't know. Probably. I think they find. I mean, they find a DNA in caves of people that were 40,000 years ago. I mean, they find DNA that's that old. So
I guess
they must be able to. I don't know what you're looking for in the soil, but if you know what you're doing, you probably could find some DNA in there.
Yeah. I watch a lot of documentaries, so now I'm like, okay, they're looking for this lady, and then they're finding all this other DNA because somebody's growing hops out of their part. But then if it did match something, then you'd go, oh well, that person passed away, whatever.
Right.
You would have the information for that, but as an investigator, you'd be like, well, that's weird that they're out here, but okay.
Yeah. And they were doing what?
Yeah.
That's weird. That's a bad idea. Whoever thought of that.
But totally legal. Look at this. Yeah, that's a bad idea. Whoever thought of that.
I thought of that.
I thought of that. That's good.
That was my bad idea.
Made some money off Tears to Beers. Oh, gosh. I mean, I can't tell. I mean, it's not a good idea. It's not. I don't think. But I like it.
We can, we'll get feedback though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm
you say, what do you think?
Would
you, I guess the real question is not even, are you entertained by the idea, but would you do that? Would you have that done either to your body or to a loved one's body and make beer out of it?
Would you drink Brad a year after his death?
Are you Brad Light?
Yeah.
My family would totally be, they're drinkers. They're beer drinkers,
right.
We'd have to make it a
I think
lager,
it would have to be a bitter beer, though. Wouldn't it have to be bitter? It would have to
if
be
it was
bitter.
you?
Oh, this is a little bitter.
Yeah. Maybe for
Might
you,
request
you
that.
do a wine and it's like it had to be aged 30 years before anybody gave it the recognition it deserved.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, I don't think the rest of my family might go for it, but I am entertained. Like I would
I'm
be fine
interested
with it.
already to see the comments.
I know, me too.
I already want to see what people say about this.
Yeah. And okay, and welcome to, maybe you have a title idea for the wine or the weed, if you have an idea for what that category of the business should
And
be
if
called.
anybody thinks this is brilliant and jumps on it and then turns it into a thing, then just give me credit. I'm
Yeah.
not going to ask you. I'm not going to sue you. I'm just tell me this is a good idea. Brad
Yeah.
Upton thought of this.
That's
I'll go,
what we
"Thank
say. We're ideas people here. You guys figure out how to do
you."
it.
Yeah, that's right. You profit off it.
Yeah.
Here's the idea.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've had a great time talking about this. Where can people find you, and tell us about your tour coming up and that type of stuff?
Everything's on my website, bradupton.com. It's amazing to me how many people ask, where can I find? It's like, you don't, it's amazing to me how many people don't know how Google works.
Yeah, just search
Just
Brad
don't
Upton.
know. Just put Brad Upton in the town that you want him to come to, and it'll pop up if I'm coming. But bradupton.com, Brad Upton Comedy is my Instagram page, and then I have a Facebook page, Brad Upton fan page.
Yeah, and you're pretty good at putting, like, you know, your calendar of
Yeah,
what's
I'm
good or whatever,
constantly
you know, like a
updating
post
stuff,
of
yeah.
what stuff's coming up on there. Yeah, and then, you know, if you follow them, then you can see the videos and link to the whatever, the dry
Exactly.
bars and stuff like that. And I mean, you should trust me anyways. If for some reason you haven't seen Brad, well worth it. But you know, then you can get a little taste, I suppose.
There you go.
And comment all over his page about whether or not you would compost your loved one into beer. Oh, thank you so much for being
Thank you.
here.
I appreciate it.
If you haven't, you can subscribe at YouTube. We have YouTube membership, so you get behind the scenes episodes and these episodes early, or on wherever you're listening, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, all those. Subscribe, review, those things. I'm not very good at selling that part, but please do it. It's helpful. But right now, you can just keep watching Dumb Pitches.
You're weird.
Yes.